Welcome to the Sleeping Barber podcast.
Well, I have a marketing moment for us, V. And it kind of relates to this a little bit, actually. Well, it relates to a lot of things we've talked about. So last night, I believe this is in UK, at the IPA Effectiveness Awards, Adam and Eve, of which Adam&Even DDB, which is where Les Binet works, they won Effectiveness Company of the Year, and then with this campaign that they did with McCain French fries, what they call it, chips, in the UK. They won the Grand Prix, the Effectiveness Awards Grand Prix last night.
Nice.
So this is clever. When the chips are down, margins matter, is what the headline is. So I'll set the stage here on this case study. So in 2008, there's this global housing crisis, right? Markets crash. There's a recession. Families are looking to save money. In the UK, much like anywhere else, the products were becoming commoditized. There's this rise happening in discount or low-cost grocers and anything else in any other category. In the UK, it's Aldi and Lidl, that we're starting to also take private label stuff and replace all of the McCain and other products on their own shelves with their own lower-cost products, and so driving revenue and margin for themselves, but cutting out other brands like McCain.
Right. Yep.
So that started happening around 2008, 2015. So just about 7 years later. By that point, 50% of all frozen French fries sold in the UK were private label. McCain's revenue was on decline. Generic search for oven chips was bigger than people were searching for oven chips more than they were searching for McCain French fries or McCain chips. Yeah. So McCain hires DDB or Adam&Even DDB in 2014. So the year before I was claiming those stats for. In 2015, they launched a campaign together that focused on balancing long-term brand building with activation. And specifically with the with the brand building campaign, what they were trying to do was focus on growing sales profitably. So they were chasing profitability, V.
There must be listeners of the podcast.
There's no
other way to explain it.
No, there's no. You're 100% right. So they're focusing on these two things. So in 2015, they launched this campaign under this platform that they call Joyful Reality. And what it was is that there's a lot of campaigns like anywhere you look that focus on sort of, I would call it stock imagery or stock assets, stock videos, where it's like these unrealistic families and perfect scenarios and perfect lives and perfect, doing perfect things with perfect kids and all that. And so they shifted away from that because they found that consumers found them unrelatable. So they were targeting families, specifically moms of real British families at tea time. And they then use these families in their campaigns for a period of 9 years. So they committed to this platform.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, there's a hyperlink in here that we'll have for the YouTube video that shows this. There's also a screenshot here of one of the families that they featured. So what happened in this period of time? So price elasticity, I had to look this up. So this is one of the ways to measure profitability. So what price elasticity means is that if a price change creates a change in demand, that's known as elastic demand. Meaning, if you increase your price, this is one of the economics things we learned I kind of learned somewhat a little bit in the MBA. You increase price, you generally decrease volume.
Right.
And so if a price, and on a scale, price elasticity is usually measured from 0 to +1. So price elasticity, if it's 1, that means it's exactly, it's elastic. So if a price elasticity is 0, it means it's inelastic. So it means that no matter how much the price changes, it doesn't change demand when it's 0.
Okay.
Right? So what happened was, over the 9-year period of this campaign, price elasticity fell by 47%. So it approached It was getting closer and closer to zero, meaning as they were increasing prices, it didn't change demand. So they could maintain sales volume as they were increasing price over a 9-year period, and it was incremental. And so they had a profit ROI for 1.5 pounds for every dollar invested. Net profit increased by 26 million Great British pounds, which is about 46 million Canadian, and net sales increased by 44%. So they did this huge successful impact of the campaign over a long period of time. So this is not like a matter 9 years. This is not like a small sample size of like, oh, we drove a spike in sales this weekend. This is a 9-year commitment to this campaign.
Holy smokes. Could you imagine coming into that company in like, say, mid-form? It's like, hey, we already have the marketing campaign. We're already live. It'd just be such a weird environment to operate in. I'm sure like there's optimizations, maybe some refreshes that kind of happened over that 9-year platform that they created. But that's taking, there must be a CMO over there, that's for sure, to make a decision like that.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a really interesting fact because they were getting improvements in price elasticity year over year, but over a 9-year period, it was like a 47% drop.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So price elasticity started at 1 and it went down to 0.53, which is pretty awesome. So it's an interesting way to measure campaign impact, right? Like we talk about profit all the time, but there is a way to do that. At least in CPG, it's pretty simple not simple, but it's somewhat straightforward to measure this kind of thing.
It's a great idea, actually. Like how does your price impact essentially like your favorability over a long period of time?
Yeah.
I like it.
So they turned the ship around.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Made it some 9 years. There you go.
Yeah.